Welcome back. Haven't made a video in a couple of weeks. I just ran out of ideas. Um, been working on my video game. That's going really good. I like super in I enhanced the graphics, to like an ultra like super enhanced graphics for my video game. For the stage one, I didn't like the way it looked. It was really bare, so I'm beefing it up and I'm adding new things into stage one. And also, I made a bunch of different developments with that game. I have a title screen now, and so I'll probably be posting that soon. As soon as I finish it, I don't know how much longer it's gonna take. I could do like a preview, but I don't know. Anyways, but this video is going to be about, this is just going to be a quick video about how to manage dimensions and arrays that, store, an array will store your video. I'm sorry, it will store graphics in memory. Um, so it's like a screen memory. Alright, so I'm just going to be really brief with this to make a point here. So I'll just call this managing arrays. So we're going to set up a quick video screen. I think it's P mode 1. We'll make the background yellow this time, and run that. I have an error already. That was quick. This should be PCLS. So, now I just have this blank background, okay? And what if you're making a game or something? The reason I'm presenting this is because when you are making a game, you have very limited memory on this. It gets eaten up quickly if you're doing big graphics, and then when you add dimensions, like I'll make an example here. Let's get a quick graphic on the screen, and I'm just gonna try to, let's see here, we're gonna put color, we'll make it red, I guess. Line 26, wait, I actually had this written down and now I have it nowhere in sight. So I'm just gonna do the best I can here. We'll make it 25, 100, 2, I'd say 200, 125, piece set, box fill. Now, I'm sure everybody knows how to piece set a line, and I'm sure everyone knows that comma B will create a box. But if you put an F, it stands for box fill, and it will automatically paint the box in for you like that. You don't have to use a paint statement, but it will be the same color as whatever you chose for your outline. So now we have, say this is we're going to pretend that I have detailed graphics inside this box, and I need to store it in memory for some reason. Okay, so I think I was saying something about dimensions, and now what was I telling you? Oh yeah, so when you're creating a program, if I print the memory right now, it starts you off with just under 23K, and let's say half of this is going to get eaten up by your code without running the program at all. So what happens when you start um, building arrays? It takes chunks out of the rest of what you have left. So let's say you only have 1200K. 12, is that 12,000? I'm not saying this right. You'll have 12K left just for your graphics, your arrays and things like that, because half of it is already eaten up by your code. So this is all you have to play with. You need to know how to manage these numbers, because if you don't do it correctly or efficiently, you're going to run out of memory and you're going to get an OM error. OM error. I can't spell today. You're going to get an OM error out of memory, and then you can't use your program because it's too big. So how do you remedy this? Well, when you start putting dimensions into your programs, you need to manage them well. So we're going to manage this one, and I'm just going to put array so it's easy for people to see. And I'm going to put dimension. Now we need to name this dimension here, which is our box. Line 3 is our box that we filled in. We're going to call it dimension B for box. You get creative. Like I said before, you want to abbreviate things that make some kind of a sense. And I believe that arrays can be up to 2 letters. So if we could put dimension box. Let's see. Now the thing is here, it'll take the BO, but it won't take the X. So just as a test, let's run this. And there's a syntax error in 5. Oh, and that's because I put an extra comma in. So let's run this. It takes it. See, it took that. Now let's list this. Now it takes dimension box, okay, but it only registers the first 2 letters. It's going to ignore the X. So this wouldn't be something that you could do if you I'll just leave it at that for now. I'm sure you guys can figure it out. It registers the BO, no pun intended, okay? But it won't register the X, but you can leave the X there to tell yourself that that is what is in this dimension. So all we're doing is we're putting that box into dimension box. But now if I try to watch what happens, now I'm only putting a small amount of in here, and it has to be, I don't know why, but it's supposed to measure the because you can only get and put boxes or rectangles. So what it tries to do is measure the length and the width of the box, but it doesn't, you don't need huge amounts. Now some people might go like this. They might run this program and say, wow, that's a pretty big box. So we need like 100 this way and 20 this way. Now, this is what I'm trying to prevent for you guys. If I did that, now let's check the memory right now. We have 22,679 and 22,679. Now, we run this program. Okay, the dimension is put in there, and let's list the memory. Oh, this is not going good. Alright, print memory. So we have 22,679. If we clear that and we take dimension out, we gain a small little bit here. Okay, so that's how much it used for a 1 by 1 dimension. If we jack that up and we don't know what we're doing, and like I said, the book does not cover this well. It tells you literally to measure it in pixels. And if I list this, and there's probably 175 pixels. Okay, because 200 minus 70, there's 175 pixels. If we even came close to that, if we do it the way it says in the book, and we put 175 by 25, which is the true value of that box, and we run this, we're already out of memory, and we can't go any farther in our program. Look at that. Well, it didn't register because it didn't go through. But we already have that error, and this is why I'm making this video. You do not need to make your dimensions that large. Now if I tone it down and I put 100 by 10, and it should take that, it runs, but when we print our memory, we went from 222, we went from 22,679 to 17,141, which used 5.5K. Now, if you had a considerable amount of code, you'd be out of memory. You wouldn't be able to do anything. Now, the correct way to do it is to start at the smallest possible dimension, which would be 1, 1. Run the program, okay, and we're safe. But there's another component. We're not that safe yet because, well, maybe we are. But we actually aren't. It might work that way, but now when we try to get it, we're going to get a different error. We're going to get an FC error because the dimension is too small. So even though the computer accepts it, okay, it's not going to work. So if we try getting 25, 100, 2, 202, now you always add 2, a value of 2 to the end of whatever you're getting, so that there's not a, otherwise it will, I can't think of the word, there'll be a, excuse me, there will be a, oh, I can't think of the word. Let's see, to 125, it will corrupt. There'll be a corruption to the rightmost side of it. So you always, you know, whatever you draw in your box, you're gonna get it exactly the same way, except for add to this here, to the second x value. Just add 2. It's not going to change anything. Sometimes you have to, sometimes you can get away with not doing it, but I almost always add 2. So I'm just letting you know. So we're going to get that rectangle, and we're going to put it in an array box, which comes next. The array comes next, and then G, followed by G, and you're good to go. That's all you need to do. So now when I run this, like I said, we're going to get an FC error in 6 because it cannot fit all of this information in that small dimension. So we're going to edit 5, and all we're going to do is we're going to change it to the next highest, which would be 2. Run that. If it still doesn't work, do it again. Edit 5. Don't bother with odd numbers. Go by 2s. And make sure they're both the same. This is a trick here. This is the most efficient way to do it. It still won't fit in there. Edit it again. Go by 2s. Change it to 6. Run that. Still doesn't fit. Try it again. Edit 5. Now watch. When I change this to 8, it should fit. And it fits. That's it. It's in memory now in dimension box, and we can replace that graphic anywhere on the screen, and we used hardly any memory, and that's the most efficient way. Now if I clear this, it will take the array out. The only thing left is this code. We're going to print that. And we have 22,677, 22,677. If we run the program, it puts it in memory. It stays in memory unless you clear it. And we went down to 22,256, and it only used 421 bytes. This is how I make large games fit into under 23K. Okay? If anybody was wondering, this is how you do it. And it's as simple as that. So I'm gonna stop this video here. I don't want it to go on too long. I could put this information anywhere on the screen. I'm sure you guys already know how to do that. But I want to make sure that everyone's managing their arrays and dimensions properly to get the most out of your 23K. And trust me, you'll need this if you're doing high resolution graphics. I shouldn't say high resolution, but if you're doing detailed graphics. And this is low res mode. That's all I use. I like it. It works for me. So, but I'm sure this would apply to the other modes, which would be medium and high. You'd have to play with it, but it's the same principle. And that's really all I have for you right now. So before I end the video, we'll just, for the heck of it, for those of you who don't know, get input. Maybe you're new to it. I'm gonna put it at 0, 0, 0, 2, should be 25, no, actually, let's see, it should be 175 plus 2, 177. This is why I usually don't use, wait, what's the difference? 200 minus 25 is 175. So this is why I stay away from numbers like 25 and odd numbers, because it doesn't translate well. But I think I have 25 to the bottom here, box, and then we piece set it. It should move that box up to here, and it does. Okay, so for those of you who are still new to Get Input, watch some of my other videos on Get Input, or look it up in your book. It'll be in there. But trust me, they make it as confusing as possible, and a lot of that stuff in there doesn't work. This is time tested. I'm pretty much, you know, getting to the point where this is second nature for me, but for some people it still might be confusing. Don't let it confuse you. It really isn't. You just put the same dimensions mathematically, you translate those to somewhere else on the screen, and it has to be the exact same size mathematically. It's just a rectangle or a square. and then you would follow it by the dimension, which is the same as get, but here you would set it to make it a graphic. Here you just use the comma G, which means graphic, I think. So you get the graphic, then you set the graphic with put, and it just moves it somewhere else to, But if you had some detailed graphics in here, like artwork, and you wanted to move it over here for some reason, that's what this is for. And when you're making video games, you need to do that all the time. And this computer, as I said before, it doesn't support sprites in BASIC. It's not something that was built into this computer until they made the Color Computer 3, which was much later on. A lot of people didn't have that. I never had it. It was a lot like a Commodore 64. Great computer. I'm sure the Color Computer 3 was great. I wish I had gotten one, but it was a little before, it was a little after, I got into computers really young. So this was what was on the market when I was 10. So that's what I got, and then this other better stuff started showing up later, and by then I had lost interest in computers, and I moved to video game consoles like Nintendo, Genesis, the Sega Genesis, TurboGrafx. I never went back to computers until much later on, and so that's enough for now. I'm glad that people are still interested in these videos. This is really the only computer that I know how to program, so I just stick with this. Sometimes, as the saying goes, it's hard. How does that go? It's hard to teach old dogs new tricks. So basically, I think it's true. I wouldn't be interested in, learning anything else, even though I like some other computers better. This is the best for me right now, and for a lot of other people, I'm sure they're saying the same thing. So that's why I keep making these videos. I hope you learned something today, and feel free to leave a comment. I want to hear what people have to say, and pretty soon I'll be putting up a what is it called? Tales of Suburbia, Stage 1, and it's going to be just a quick walkthrough. I don't know, so I don't know when that's going to be. It'll be as soon as I can get it. I mean, there's a lot of work going into this, or that game. I'm the only one working on it, and there's a ton of things that you have to do, and it just takes a while. So be patient, and I'll see you later. Take care.